Lando Norris beat the Mercedes duo to pole position at the Dutch Grand Prix in a hectic end to qualifying. Rain threatened to cause an anticlimax to qualifying, but the track remained dry enough for the McLaren and Mercedes drivers to battle it out for top spot, with Norris edging out Russell by a tenth and championship leader Anthony by a slightly more. Oscar Piastri was just behind Anthony in fourth in another tight session, a continuation of the trend we saw throughout the sprint weekend at Zandvoort, setting up an intriguing race tomorrow. Norris won the last race before the summer break, but is 92 points behind championship leader Anthony, who opened up a 53-point lead in the title race following Saturday's sprint, as his closest challenger Lewis Hamilton struggled in the short race. Russell won the sprint and will look to make further inroads into his 56-point deficit to Anthony, while Hamilton has work to do after only qualifying fifth. The Ferrari drivers were last to complete their laps in Q3, but did not have the speed to challenge at the front. However, Hamilton outpaced Leclerc for the first time in a competitive session this weekend. Red Bull have also been disappointing at Max Verstappen's home race, with the Dutch Grand Prix falling off the calendar. Verstappen only qualified 7th behind Leclerc and only a 10th ahead of Liam Lawson, who's replaced Isaac Hadjar at Red Bull this weekend after the Frenchman suffered a wrist injury. Audi's Gabriel Bottas continued his strong performances in 9th, as did Racing Bull's Arvid Lindblom in 10th, while Yuki Tsunoda qualified 12th. Aston Martin were doing expecting more from their engine and aero upgrades, both Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll out in Q1 in 18th and 19th. Norris was pessimistic about his qualifying chances after being overtaken by Leclerc late in the sprint on his way to a third, and points out McLaren's slow speed corner weaknesses as something that was not solvable this weekend. The team made some setup tweaks ahead of qualifying, which gave drivers confidence as Piastri topped Q1 and Norris Q2. Norris then set the time to beat after the first Q3 runs with a 10.5 advantage over field, as the grid was under threat of being set as rain was on the way. Everyone out for their last effort, so on a more normal track, and drivers were able to improve. So Anthony briefly took pole before Norris delivered a stunning lap that Russell was unable to beat. A little bit surprised, honestly, just a decent lap. I was pushing because you see how close it is, and 100s, 200s can make a big difference in the end. But it's a good turnaround from earlier today, where I feel like we struggled for a bit. So credit to the team. We had tried something that we hadn't done before, so we made some small changes. Nothing that was going to make us enough gain 2 tenths or even 1 tenth, but maybe a bit more confidence. I felt like I could do more today, and that paid off. Ferrari's new floor hasn't brought them any closer to the front, and they could be in threat in Sunday's race, as Leclerc has impressive tyre deck in the sprint, but overtaking is difficult, so Ferrari would probably need strategy to overtake. Hamilton saying, I feel optimistic. Fifth's not the greatest, but it could be far worse, so I'm grateful for that. However, our race pace was good in the sprint race. Charles had good pace and the car's in the best place. Hopefully the right strategy and the right execution, I think we can hopefully challenge the cars ahead. And before I go, let me run you through the classification for the grid tomorrow. And Lando Norris on pole. I mean, great job for him. The question will be over the race pace, so can they keep that up? I think Russell Anthony will be there or thereabouts. Encouraging for Russell to out-qualify his teammate again. Piastri probably a bit unlucky to be fourth given the gaps, but you know, still hopefully he can be in the fight. Hamilton, good recovery from the sprint. I think Leclerc will be disappointed with that. Lawson, great job to only be in with a tenth of Verstappen, but it does seem like Red Bull very clearly fourth best car this weekend. Bortoletto in 9th. Best the rest, good job from him. Lindblad as well, getting to Q3. Gasly I think will be frustrated to miss out, but it does seem Alpine a bit more competitive. Tsunoda once again in that 12th place, did a really solid job there. When you consider Hulkenberg was even further behind his teammate. Colapinto 14th. Not a bad effort. He's obviously done the upgrades compared to his teammates, so that hurts him a bit. Ocon's been out qualifying Behrman quite comfortably this weekend. That's encouraging for him and something he needs to do more. Williams still struggling. I think Aston Martin will be really disappointed. Their upgrade hasn't really brought the divide effect this weekend. And Cadillac, with those upgrades, they're still kind of alone at the back at the moment. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme, and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.